Many gamers consider streaming the ideal dream job, and one of the most appealing things about it is that everyone can try their hand at it. Now, if you want to try streaming and want to do it with a face cam rather than just with audio commentary, you'll definitely need a good webcam. After all, nearly everyone is used to watching HD videos these days, and being able to meet the quality demands in that regard is important. So in order to help you pick a new webcam for streaming, we've put together a list of what we find to be the 4 very best ones currently available. So without any further ado, let's begin. Kicking off this list is the C920 webcam from Logitech. With nearly 4 decades worth of experience under their belt, Logitech has built up the kind of reputation and consumer trust that many manufacturers can only dream of. Whenever you see the Logitech logo on a peripheral, it is pretty much guaranteed to be good. And while this may not be true for every single one of their products, it definitely is when it comes to the C920. With an impressive full HD camera, this webcam stands out as one of the 2 on the list that are capable of capturing high-resolution 1080p videos. But video quality is more than just resolution and megapixels. And that's where the next great thing about this webcam comes in. The C920 uses premium quality Carl Zeiss made glass lens with smart and adaptable autofocus to ensure that the footage is always crisp and clean. It even comes with an automatic light correction feature, which may be its most important feature. After all, the main culprit behind that grainy, analog-looking video quality is usually poor lighting rather than the resolution itself. But with the C920, you'll have clear footage even if your lighting is not the best. Of course, high quality and high pricing go hand in hand, but you don't really have to pay the full $80 unless you order it directly from Logitech. In fact, you can get it from many authorized sellers and resellers for as little as $50. This may still be more than most people feel comfortable paying for a webcam, but it makes an incredibly cost-effective solution if you're trying to stream professionally. Following up, we have another Logitech webcam, which is something of an improvement over the C920, and it's the C922x. Design-wise, it's almost indistinguishable from the more affordable C920. And while it doesn't bring any flashy new features, it does perform better in every regard. It shares the same resolution and 1080p recording capabilities with the C920, but it handles light correction noticeably better. With the C922x, the lighting looks far more natural and the autofocus tends to be more accurate and more responsive, if only slightly so. There are some improvements in the audio department as well. It uses the same stereo microphone design, but the audio is cleaner and there's much less background noise. But even though it may be the best microphone that you'll find in a webcam, it's still not a perfect substitute for a good external microphone if you intend on streaming. At the end of the day, considering the sheer quality of this webcam and the fact that we found the more modestly priced C920 to be on the pricey side, it should be fairly obvious that the main drawback of the C922x will be its price. And sure enough, it starts at a hefty $99. And unlike the C920, it can seldom be found at prices significantly lower than the MSRP. As such, we'd only recommend this webcam to those who want the best quality and are willing to pay extra for it. Next on this list, we have yet another Logitech webcam, but this time it is a more modest solution. The Logitech C270. The C270 is a simple looking camera without any remarkable elements in its design. In fact, judging by the exterior, you wouldn't think there's much to it. But it is a Logitech product after all, and unsurprisingly, it delivers. The C270 can record in 720p, which is the most popular resolution for the majority of webcams today. What's more, it may even seem a bit off-putting at first because it only uses a 3 megapixel sensor. But you'd never guess that without the spec sheet because of how clean the video looks. And this is possible because of the excellent Logitech software that went into this webcam. It actually uses 2 key technologies to make the video quality so good. The first one is the Logitech Crystal Fluid technology, which works on improving video quality on all fronts. Sharpness, color, contrast, and overall clarity will all be significantly better thanks to this feat of software engineering. And then there's the automatic light correction, just like with the 2 previous webcams. It greatly improves the video and picture quality in low light conditions. But beware of how flimsy the mounting on this webcam is. It's not too stable even when mounted on a monitor, so if you're a laptop user and don't want to get a tripod as well, it might be best to consider another option. The fourth webcam on this list comes from none other than Microsoft, and it's the Microsoft LifeCam Cinema. It sports a cylindrical body that looks very much like a real cinematic camera, and the build is exceptionally sturdy. The design stands out to say the least, but it's not like the device traded functionality for good looks. The LifeCam Cinema is a 720p camera, but as we've said, resolution isn't everything. A noticeable feature is this camera's wide-angle lens, which allows it to cover a greater area and adds some extra depth to a picture or a video. Needless to say, this is hardly a crucial feature for a webcam. More importantly, it's also packed with some very neat software. It uses true color technology with face tracking. True color allows for a more accurate focus and exposure adjustment, which in turn means that you will be filmed clearly and in the best light possible. Just as a side note though, the autofocus on this camera can be irksome at times when it becomes overactive, especially in low light environments. It's not a deal breaker by any means, but the recurring blur can sometimes get really annoying really fast. And lastly, we have the LifeCam HD 3000, another more affordable Microsoft webcam to balance out this list. It's not nearly as flashy as the LifeCam Cinema. In fact, in the context of this list, it could be seen as a budget solution. But in reality, it balances the line between low-end and mid-range webcams. So while the HD 3000 is far from the best cam out there, it is more than capable of getting the job done if you're pinching pennies. The LifeCam HD 3000 too records in 720p with a simple 4-megapixel sensor and plastic lens. And while it does lack some of the more powerful features of the LifeCam Cinema and other more expensive webcams, it actually does have both autofocus and true color capabilities on the Windows 8 and above. On the flip side of things, no pun intended, this webcam faces the issue of not having a tilt adjustment feature. This is something most webcams have to enable the user to find the ideal viewing angle. So the fact that it's missing in this webcam might spell some difficulty when it comes to setting it up properly. So we've seen what the 4 best webcams for streaming in 2018 are. But how would you know which one is the best pick for you? Obviously, your budget will play a crucial role, but different users have different requirements. So let's briefly go through all the criteria to consider. First things first, there is the resolution, and which resolution you'll need will depend on what you'll be using the webcam for. If all you need to add is a face cam to your stream, then there really isn't that big of a benefit to getting a 1080p webcam. Of course, we know what the gnawing urge to get the best product possible can be like, and if you can't afford a 1080p cam, then by all means get one. But if you need to cut some corners, a 720p one will do. Next, we have the lens. Cheaper lenses are made from plastic, and more expensive ones are made from glass. But the difference between the two isn't as big a deal in webcams as it is in, say, professional cameras or contact lenses. It's not that there are no benefits to using glass lenses, but plastic ones will be just fine for streaming. After that, there is the microphone. All 5 models on this list have built-in microphones of varying qualities. But here's the thing, an integrated microphone just won't cut it for streaming. These microphones were designed for video chatting and they're excellent for that, but not for streaming. Dedicated microphones are simply better in every conceivable way and they'll definitely be a worthwhile investment. The stereo microphones of the first 2 entries can at best be a substitute. And last, but certainly not least, there's the image correction. As we've seen, technologies that improve image quality through lighting and color correction are arguably the most important feature in a webcam. Poor lighting is usually the culprit behind low-quality videos, but it's also quite difficult setting up proper cinematic lighting at your desk. So the ability to combat this issue digitally may just be what makes or breaks a webcam. Just keep in mind that not all webcams utilize these features equally well. Now with all these things in mind, if we had to pick the very best streaming webcam, we'd have to go with our first entry, the Logitech C920. It really is a clear notch above the competition in 2 ways. First and foremost, it is the most cost-effective webcam currently available, which is the main reason why we choose it over the better and pricier C922x. On top of that, it has everything that a good webcam should. It's well built, it can record in 1080p, and uses a premium quality glass lens, making it ideal not only for streaming, but for vlogging and video calls as well. And there you have it, our buyer's guide for the very best streaming webcams in 2018. We hope that you've enjoyed this video and maybe learned something new and interesting from it. If you did, then don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, we'll see you next time on Gaming Scan.